Well, motherfuckers. It's your boy, the hater, up in this piece. I'm back from Chicago. Luckily, I didn't get an opportunity to go see the show live because it turns out that Hoffman Estates, Illinois, is 1 hour from Chicago, which, as far as I'm concerned, is just false advertising and a lie to suggest that All Out happened in Chicago. It did not happen in Chicago. You know, this would be like something happening in, I don't know, Newark, Delaware, and someone being like, oh, it happened in New York City. You know what I'm saying? No, absolutely not, motherfucker. It's not the same thing. It's like 2 hours away. But anyways, neither here nor there. Let's get started with this shitty review up in this piece, right? Because of the time difference, I completely forgot that Chicago is 1 hour different from the East Coast where I live. Because, you know, it didn't take that long to get there, so it was kind of weird. But anyways, I missed the first hour of the pay-per-view, but I read about it, and during the show, they showed the highlights. So I think I'm pretty equipped to talk about it. First up, Best Friends and Jurassic Express. When I say Best Friends, I'm including Wheeler Yuta, this bitch, right? Beat the Hardy Family Office, which includes Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2. Who cares? Obviously a throwaway match. There's only one thing that is noteworthy about this match, and I will talk about that later. Miro beat Eddie Kingston with a super kick. Nobody gave a flying fuck. Everybody knew that was going to happen. John Moxley beat Kojima with a snap suplex that he calls the Paradigm Shift. Because the Paradigm Shift has gone from being this brain buster-esque double underhook, right? It was basically supposed to be like an enhanced version of the Dirty Deeds, right? It's like a lifting Dirty Deeds. Then it turned into a vertical suplex, right? More so. Then it became a fucking motherfuckers. Then it became a straight up snap suplex. It's like a hatch suplex. So nobody cares about that. Britt Baker predictably beat Chris Statlander. So right now, we're 4-0 with our predictions up in this bitch. Then, the first match that I got wrong was Lucha Bros versus the Young Cucks. A lot of people have been saying this is the best match I've ever seen. I'll tell you right now why it was not, motherfucks. First of all, there was a point in the middle of the match where the Young Cucks opened up a bag to take out this boot that had like spikes on it. Now, this took a fucking eternity, and it reminded me of the shitty, overhyped Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns feud, where they would sit in the middle of the ring and do like one punch and then have like 1 minute monologues. Oh, acknowledge me. Oh, acknowledge me, Jay. I'm the head of the family. I'm the head of the table. Like, this fucking garbage. John Cena should have beaten Roman Reigns as far as I'm concerned, right? I guess Brock Lesnar's gonna have to lose to his ass too, but who gives a fuck? Eventually someone will beat this guy. Anyways, so there we had all that shit happening. Another reason why the match was dumb was because the cage was barely used, all right? Like the fact that idiot Dave Meltzer said that this was the best cage match he's ever seen. The cage was barely used. There was like one cage spot, and that was Rey Fenix jumping from the top of the cage. Everything else was like it wasn't a cage match beyond that, right? This is the problem with Dave Meltzer. This guy is like retarded. Like actually he's not retarded. I don't think he's an idiot at all. I think he's just disingenuous, like to the extreme. Because it's like, how can anyone say this was a good cage match when the cage was barely used? You know? And when it was used, it was shit. Rey Fenix does like a cross body. I expect more from Rey Fenix. You know? A cross body is like the most generic top rope cage move you can do. You know? Whatever. Eventually, there was another spot where these four morons were standing in like a square formation, and they would each super kick each other. It was goofy, it was cringy, and it was embarrassing. And my girlfriend was laughing at it. We're watching this at a bar. She was laughing at it like look how stupid this is, you know? So like, the best part of this was me watching with my girlfriend because she was able to see what wrestling fans are like, because the place where I was at had a lot of these like smarky fans, you know? Not to say anything bad about them. They were nice. They were all good people. Like they were playing along. They were chanting to the matches. There was a few anti-smarks, which really proves that the anti-smarks are just as cringe as the smarks. You know what I'm saying? It's just like some guy in one of my last videos who was like, oh, why are you making fun of Technical Working Productions? They're on our side. What the fuck are you talking? What do you mean our side? What side? I'm not on any side, motherfucker. I'm not on anybody's side. I sure as shit am not on the side of people that are gonna sit there and pretend that like the only thing wrong with wrestling is the marks. Absolutely not. The anti-smarks are just as bad as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the match. After this goofy ass kick fest, right? The boot with the spikes was overused. You know what I'm saying? Like, compare that to Triple H's sledgehammer. Triple H's sledgehammer comes out. It might be like flying around in the match, like someone picks it up, then drops it, and that kind of shit. But when it's used once, and that's the end of the match. The boot was not used like that. It was overused, and as a result, became hacky. Eventually, people started hitting each other on the head with it while holding it with their hands, which was really, really goofy, you know? Eventually, the match neared its end. There was a few false finishes, as you would expect. A lot of them, honestly. My girlfriend was like, "This is stupid." I'm like, "I know." She didn't really say it was stupid, but I could tell from her face. Then next up, well, I guess I should say that the Lucha Bros won the match and the titles. So I guess that's good for them. But who gives a flying fuck? Next up, we have the Casino Battle Royal, the Women's Casino Battle Royal. A lot of nonsense happened. The match was so bad, so bad. Like I've never seen a match this bad. Oh, at some point, Britt Baker beat Chris Statlander. Did I mention that? Who cares? The match was so bad. Like the women are so bad in AEW. Long story short, the Joker card is drawn by Ruby Soho, and in the end, it's her and Thunder Rosa. The two women that actually are cool, Tainara Conchi and fucking, what's her face, Jade Cargill, got eliminated. So the last two were Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa. Obviously, the match to make here is Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker because they had that match that was overrated. But nonetheless, Ruby Soho, who is none other than Ruby Riott, wins the match, right? So basically what we had here was a jobber from WWE who hadn't been on TV for like 2 years and had lost all matches in the last like 5 years. She just beat everyone in AEW. That's what AEW is. A place where Ruby Riott can come and become the number one contender. You know? Next up, Tony Nese will come and challenge Sting. Who the fuck knows, right? Then we had Jericho versus MJF in what was a pretty good match. The highlight of this match was MJF hits the Judas effect and pins Jericho 1, 2, 3. However, Jericho's foot or arm or something was on the rope. So another referee comes out, tells Aubrey Edwards, he's like, "Yo, you fucked up because you suck." And then the match is restarted. Jericho puts the walls of Jericho on him and maintains his career. Then we had CM Punk versus Darby Allin in a shitty match that can be best summarized as eventually CM Punk hit the go to sleep and Darby Allin lost. You know, CM Punk not only put Darby Allin to sleep, but he put me to sleep, motherfucks. I actually started falling asleep at the bar. I'm not joking. I'm not fucking around. I started falling asleep. My girlfriend started falling asleep. A lot of the Neckbeard fans started falling asleep too because this match was boring. It was not good. Darby Allin can only have good matches when either he wins or if it's like a 30-minute match. Because Darby Allin is only entertaining when he wins. He does this cool things when he wins. This match, he didn't win. Long story short, CM Punk picked him up, reversed some like Hurricane Rana or some bullshit into the go to sleep, you know? This match is going to be my new go to sleep aid. I'm not even fucking around. Like, I'm gonna like, if I can't fall asleep, I'll just watch this match and I'll fall asleep in about 5 minutes, you know? Typically, I'll go and like watch like a technical work rate productions video, you know, since our feud, because obviously I didn't watch that shit before and I actually don't, I'm just fucking around. But watch that for 20 seconds and you fall asleep. Or watch this and fall asleep, whatever the fuck you want, right? Next up, we had Paul White destroy QT Marshall and his entire group, which should just be disbanded at this point because all they do is lose. Paul White came out looking strong. This was a better return to the ring than CM Punk's because Big Show, the character of the Big Show, which is now called Paul White, right? The character is exactly that. It's a guy that it's going to be hard to beat him and it's going to be easy for him to beat you. And that came across in this match. CM Punk didn't come across as anything but a jobber in this match. You know what I mean? So there you have it. That's that, motherfucks. Then we had Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage in what otherwise was a pretty good match, except for the fact that I knew what was going to happen. The end of the match pretty much was that the Elite came out, they interfered, they distracted Christian. Long story short, Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel from the top rope and pins him. Okay, so the pay-per-view by itself, just stopping it here for a second, was garbage. The matches were not good. The Jericho match was okay. The main event was okay at best. But everything was so predictable. As a matter of fact, the only things that I think were not predictable were the Lucha Brothers match. Like, I got that one wrong. And I will admit that even though I thought Jericho was going to win, that match was not predictable. Like, MJF could have won. Everything else was 100% predictable. I mean, obviously discounting the Women's Battle Royal because nobody even knew who was going to be there. But yeah. Beyond that, The whole pay-per-view was 100% predictable. The fact that people are saying this is the best pay-per-view of all time is a lie. It's disingenuous. It's not true. It wasn't that good. That's what I think, motherfucks. There you have it. Now, let's talk about some problems here. You know, I'm going to make another video. I've decided just now. I'm going to release that today as well. It's going to be another video where I talk about the implications of what's happening. That's going to be a good one. Look out for that, motherfuckers. But right now, I just want to talk a little bit, a tiny, tiny bit about what's actually happening, before us, if you will, right? After the match, Kenny Omega picked up the mic and he cut a promo, which made no sense. This is why wrestling is stupid. I don't know if other people have talked about this because I haven't been watching anything because I was on vacation. Like, for example, I don't know if Jay Rance talked about it or if Casual Q or something like that talked about it. I don't, but if they haven't, then I will be the first, motherfuckers. So, the problem that I had with this, the first problem was Kenny Omega cut this promo as if he just beat Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? He barely beat Christian, but he's acting like he just beat Ric Flair and John Cena 2-on-1 handicap match clean. Like 4 people had to interfere for him to beat Christian Cage. Christian Cage beat him the week before. So it's not like Kenny Omega is this dominant champion at all. He's not a dominant champion. He's a cuck. So he cut this promo basically saying that nobody can beat him because the people that could either aren't in this company or they're dead, right? And then Adam Cole comes out. Now, you know for a fact, just by looking at Adam Cole, that his debut is completely meaningless, number one, but we'll get to that probably in the next video. Yeah, that's probably better left in the next video. But Adam Cole comes out. Turns out he's going to be a heel. Now, that makes perfect sense because Adam Cole was always like the 5th guy in the Bullet Club. So Adam Cole beating Kenny Omega from a kayfabe perspective makes no sense because Kenny Omega was the leader. This guy was the follower. So he becomes good with the Bullet Club people. He becomes friends with them again, and he's just joined them. This is completely meaningless. And this served as like a false finish to the pay-per-view, if you will, because then Kenny Omega was going to cut a promo saying goodbye, good night, all that shit he says. Bryan Danielson, that's right, motherfuckers, Daniel Bryan himself comes out, beats the shit out of everybody. The segment was not good. It came off as cringy. Eventually, Daniel Bryan hit the running knee. I forget on who. It was either on Adam Cole or one of the Young Bucks. The reason why I don't know who he hit it on is because all 3 of these guys are completely interchangeable. Adam Cole is just the 3rd Young Buck. He brings nothing new to this company or the table or anything. With that being said, motherfuckers, my review of this pay-per-view is that it gets a solid 4 out of 10. Typically, it would get a 3, but the facts are what the facts are. 3 people debuted, so it's a noteworthy pay-per-view, you know? Daniel Bryan debuted, and Daniel Bryan, whether you like him or not, I don't think he's going to move the needle or anything like that, but Daniel Bryan is a star. He main evented last year's WrestleMania, so he's a big deal. Like, people cannot pretend that he's not a big deal, you know what I'm saying? He's infinitely better and a bigger deal than Adam Cole. Adam Cole is like a fucking failure. Like, he went to NXT, and basically what happened was, they said, hey, Adam Cole, do you want to renew your contract? He probably said, yes, sir, I would love to do that. By the way, when am I getting called up to SmackDown or Raw? And they looked at him and said, what? No, kid, you're going to be staying on NXT for the remainder of your career. You're not a Raw or SmackDown guy. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be on NXT. And he said, oh, okay, then I'll go to AEW, where he will be on AEW Dark in a few months. So anyways, that's not important. Daniel Bryan coming back is a big deal. He's a big deal. He is like the #1 indie guy of all time. Like, he is the indie guy. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty big deal. Him and CM Punk kind of debuting on the same night in some respect is a huge deal. But this does not propel the pay-per-view from being a 3 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. This propels it from being a 3 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. And that's the grade we're giving this motherfucker. All right? Now, next up, stay tuned. Later today, a video that I'm going to make about explaining this huge problem about AEW that I think is really exemplified by what happened at All Out. So you do not want to miss that. Believe you me, motherfuckers. See you later, bitch boys.